Guys, welcome back to the One Combat channel. So today I actually have the final drills for you guys on the sit rope. I know some of you guys may be tired of watching me work the sit rope a bunch of different ways, so this will actually be the last final 3 drills that I will have for you guys on the sit rope. These will be more on the advanced side. Of course, I showed you guys very basic sit rope drills, and then of course I went more on the intermediate side. So basically we touched upon a bunch of different things with the sit rope. So not only did we just basically utilize the sit rope for defensive movements, we also basically started creating angles, learned how to attack the body and the head. So there's been a lot of things that we've been implementing into the sit rope just by simply using our imagination and just kind of like changing little drills around. So this will actually be the final drills, at least at least for a while, right? So these will be the final drills that will actually incorporate advanced movements, mostly consisting of shifting, turning over from southpaw to orthodox. So it's going to be they're going to be very advanced drills, so hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Just so we ease our way into these more advanced drills, I'm actually going to give you guys something that you guys may be familiar with and something that you guys saw in our last 2 videos. So these drills will actually combine 2 drills that we actually showed you guys on this channel already, which of course incorporate pivots and actually, you know, the turns that we did on the inside where we blocked. We're going to put basically 2 drills together, and we're just going to add pivots basically to the end of those drills. So it's going to be a very useful drill more on the defensive side, and I'm actually going to show you guys how to use basically more offensive movements, but just to kind of keep it simple and just kind of to ease our way in here. So all we're basically going to do is basically a complex between, you know, blocking on the inside and rolling and then pivoting, right? Because of the fact that we always kind of want to be in a position where we have the upper hand, and at the same time we're not always going to be the ones pressing the action forward. Like I mentioned time and time again, sometimes we're going to be boxing off of our back foot, and sometimes it's good to be able to defend off of our back foot, right? Block, or slipping and slipping, and at the same time create a new angle, because sometimes those new angles, like I mentioned time and time again, they open up doors for us to actually, you know, kind of tee off or basically create offense or basically change the momentum for us. Basically follow the same movements that we've done in our last video. So it's block on the inside, block on the outside, roll, and then every time that you roll, you pivot, right? And then if you want to even like make it even more complex, you guys could basically use this as a head and a bottom piece, right? Or head and body, and at the same time throw some punches if you want to get really offensive and get very creative with it. Block, roll, pivot, shoot a shot if you need to, or if you want to, pivot back to the middle, next to the line, roll under, block, pivot, roll, right? That type of movement. Okay, so basically that's just kind of like a way to ease into it, and of course now we're gonna kind of work on more of these advanced drills. So one of the things that we haven't really covered a lot in our channel, or probably not at all, is actually shifting. So shifting basically just means turning orthodox to southpaw or southpaw to orthodox, depending on which stance you basically start out from. And shifting sometimes could actually be, you know, side to side as well. So there's some lateral shifts, right? So shifting is really cool because of the fact that it actually opens new angles for you guys. Sometimes it actually confuses the opposition because now the punches are coming from different points.
Ain't no way he's gonna hit you then, right? And remember, it's always good to throw the punch where you could hit him and he can't hit you. That's what the science of boxing is all about.
Sometimes people prepare for an orthodox fighter and that's all they kind of expect, and then, you know, you change it up a little bit, go southpaw, or go southpaw as you're throwing a punch, and now the punches come from different angles. So it's very important to actually be able to somewhat understand both angles if you're actually going to be incorporating shifts to your fighting style, because of the fact that every angle is different when you guys are actually fighting from the opposite stance. So I'm actually going to show you guys, you know, just a basic generic shift, and also incorporate defensive movements with this along with the sit rope, so it's not all going to be completely offensive. A lot of times, let's just say like I'm gonna start orthodox, right? Because it's a lot easier for me to go southpaw. All I'm gonna do is basically turn this cross hand into my jab hand, right? So a lot of fighters do that by actually stepping in with the punch, right? And now as you guys can see, I'm in the southpaw position, right? Because my right hand leads. And then from this position, I mean, you could go roll under, right? And when you're here again, you know, now this time turn your left hand into your jab hand, right? Now I'm in the orthodox position. Now you roll under here. I'm not really gonna use any punches going back, so all I'm gonna actually do is just move my lead hand, in this case my left side, go back, right? Go back into a southpaw stance and go under, right? So that's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go back, roll under, go back, roll under, go back, roll under, go back, roll under. And then now as I'm moving forward, I basically step in with my cross, turn it into my jab hand, right? So I step in, roll under, step in, roll under, right? Step in, roll under, step in, roll under. On screen, I mean, I don't know if I'm making it easier than what it really is, but if you guys don't know how to dominate the opposite side, or just, you know, you're not used to basically the movements of rolling under punches, it might get a little bit difficult because, I mean, now you're fighting out of the opposite stance and you kind of have to roll basically like the opposite way off of the opposite stance. I'm going backwards, right? Like this is I'm southpaw, this is my right side, right? I'm stepping back, this is my left hand goes under here. Now the left hand back, southpaw, roll under, left back over here, right? Orthodox under, left hand goes back, southpaw, southpaw under, right hand goes back, left hand is in front of me, orthodox under. And now with the punches, step in, roll under, step in, roll under, step in, roll under, step in, roll under, right? Boom, boom. So in comparison to a lot of other shifts, I mean, this shift is very easy for the most part. I mean, it just gets a little bit rough and a little bit hard when, of course, you have someone in front of you, because that changes because there's so many variables that could actually happen during that step. But for the most part, this drill is not that difficult, and it's just kind of like a good way to ease yourself into shifting. I just basically put it more on the advanced side, just for the mere fact that a lot of people just, for the most part, fight off of one stance. And when you fight off of one stance, I mean, you just get used to the same patterns, the same rhythm, the same motions, and the same, like, your body mechanics are just used to, you know, just one way to move. But when you're actually shifting from orthodox to southpaw, like I said, now you actually have to move your body in a different way, and your body is now basically kind of like also adjusting to basically what's in front of you. You get me? So now your brain also gets tested a little bit more, because now, you know, like if I'm a southpaw fighter, I actually have to move a little bit different when I'm going up against another southpaw fighter, right? Or if I'm a southpaw fighter and I go orthodox, now I have to move, or kind of have to think about orthodox tactics when going up against a southpaw fighter or another orthodox fighter. So not only is this kind of a little bit different on your physicality, but also in your mental, right? Your brain, like I mentioned, has to work a little bit more, because now, I mean, there's a whole different panorama and there's a whole different view in front of you, and you basically have to think about the tactics that are necessary or that have to be done to be able to get the most out of your opposition off of the opposite stance. And so for my final drill, is my third drill of this video, I'm actually going to show you guys the D'Amato shift, of course made famously by Cus D'Amato, right? Cus D'Amato's and his fighters, the great Mike Tyson, of course, was one of the fighters that actually used this shift a lot, because of the fact that he was very good off of with both hands, basically. So once again, this allows you the opportunity to create new angles, attack from different sides. It's really useful when you're along the ropes as well, because of the fact that it allows you to actually, you know, shoot punches off the left side and the right side, especially like when a fighter is like covering up right here in the middle, like you're able to kind of slip and slide from left to right. This one's pretty cool to work on the slip rope, just for the mere fact that the slip rope actually helps you, or kind of keeps you to be defensively responsible. So what I mean by that is, I could actually teach you guys the D'Amato shift, right, off of no slip rope, right? So right from this position, from this position, to from this position. But at the same time, sometimes since people don't have anything to worry about, they just kind of get like very, very sloppy with it. And with the slip rope, you can't get sloppy with it because of the fact that there's something there, right? So I need to actually, you know, basically be here in position to actually like shoot my shot, right? And at the same time be this defensively responsible to not get hit by the rope. And then basically I can, you know, come over here again, bah, 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 and shoot my shot over here as well. It's way different from the pivot, where you kind of like, you know, use your lead foot to kind of like turn, right? That's kind of like what a pivot is right here. It's kind of more like a hop, and it's a little bit more explosive. It's a movement that has to be done quite quickly, because of the fact that, you know, like you only have a couple seconds to actually create these movements. And at the same time, I mean, your opposition for the most part is more than likely not just going to stay there and take shots. These movements have to be explosive, quick, right? It's a very, very fast shift, but it's also a very useful shift that allows you the opportunity to create or attack from a new angle. So just for the sake of this video, I'm actually going to start from the orthodox stance, because that's, you know, the stance that most people are actually going to come out of or be fighting out of. So what I need to do here is just basically, from this position, I want to basically kind of jump onto this side. So what I'm actually going to kind of have to do, or what I'm going to do, is actually drop this right shoulder kind of onto my left side. But as I turn my shoulder onto my left side, I'm actually going to basically turn my hips over this way, right? So basically that type of motion. I shift over into southpaw, right? So without using my hands, right, I'm just going to basically be here, right? Just boom, right? And then turn my hips over. And then from this position, I have the opportunity to throw my shots, right? But in theory, of course, you want to basically be with your hands up, because like I told you guys, you don't want to look sloppy, and at the same time, you want to keep your fundamentals intact and be defensively responsible. So you're here, right? You drop, turn over, and boom, shoot your shot, right? And from this position, I mean, if you really wanted to, I mean, you could do one of three things. You guys could actually pivot back, and then like the model shift this way, right? So now I'm going from southpaw to orthodox. So now I drop my left shoulder towards the right side, dip down low, boom, right? And basically turn my hips this way, right? Boom, right? And now I'm in the orthodox position, right? Now if I pivot back, I'm actually, you know, back to being orthodox fighter. I could also slip and slide, so I could actually do this. I could actually go southpaw, shoot my shot, drop down low, and basically turn it around, right? I could step out right here, right? Get down low, shift over, boom, shift my hips, right? Become an orthodox fighter. I pivot, and I'm basically back to my orthodox stance, right? Alright, so here you guys actually see me incorporating the model shift into this video. So like you could tell, most of the time as I'm shifting from orthodox to southpaw and then basically sliding over to the orthodox stance, you guys see as I'm throwing my punches, I basically keep them short, just for the mere fact that most of the time when the model shift has been applied, or at least the times that I've seen it, I mean, for the most part, it's always at close range. It's never really from a distance. Another thing, I didn't really get too specific with the model shift. I didn't really get into like a very complete analysis or detail on it. I actually have some videos, maybe not specifically, but a bunch of other videos coming where I'm actually going to show you guys how to use the model shift, or how to basically learn it using other tools. So yeah, that's basically it. And one more thing, I mean, here you guys will see my friend Brianna actually use it in sparring. So as you guys could tell here, she goes from orthodox and then she slides over kind of in the southpaw position. She throws like a right hook. So don't forget to check her out. She's actually really nice, and she allowed me the opportunity to use this footage. So I would just suggest that you guys go see her and watch her train, and just kind of like watch her grow, watch her improvement and stuff. Like, you won't be disappointed, trust me. So yeah, thank you guys. Alright guys, so basically that will conclude our video. The first drill, I didn't really show you guys too many visuals, just because all of those drills basically that I've done in the past make up that complex. For our second drills, I actually implemented shifts. So this is probably like the most, I guess, easiest, simplest shift. Of course, shifting is not easy, and of course dominating the opposite stance also requires a lot of skill and effort. That's just kind of like an intro of shifting, and I try to basically break it down in the simplest form that I possibly could. And then for our third and final drill, just to kind of like end off with these advanced kind of slip rope drills, or these slip rope drills in general, I actually showed you guys the model shift. I've actually shown you guys or broken down these shifts by Mike Tyson in previous videos as well. I'm actually going to link a lot of these videos in the description box, so you guys want to check that out. But yeah, just did the model shift, basically shifting from left to right using the angles on the lateral side. So make sure that you guys actually study shifting. There's a bunch of fighters that you guys could actually check out. You guys could check out Marvin Hagler. You guys could check out who else is a good shifter? P-Rogue was another one. Gennady Golovkin, even Terence Crawford, right? Or of course Mike Tyson. So make sure that you guys check out some of those fighters and actually see when and how they implement to shift into their strategies and to their offensive and defensive tactics or techniques. So make sure that you guys study and brush up on that. That way you guys could understand basically the positionings from the orthodox stance and the southpaw stance, especially if you guys are actually fighting out of the opposite stance of either or stance. Finally, this video will end here, and if you guys want to check out my links, My social media is actually in the description box. Team social media, Instagram, Facebook, which we hardly even really use to be honest with you guys. But yeah, go check us out, follow us, and yeah, man, basically that'll be it. Thank you guys for your support. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you guys share this video with your grandma.